Hello and welcome to UC Today. My name's David Dungay. Today I am joined by Mark Sher, SVP of Product Marketing at Intermedia. Welcome to the show, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on the show today.
So, Mark, today we're going to have a really sort of pertinent conversation about the service provider landscape. We're just fresh off the back of an event at Cavell. So there's a lot going on in this space. We're seeing some really big moves and so interesting times. But before we get into that, do you want to do a quick introduction to yourself and the business?
Yeah, happy to. I have responsibility for our global product marketing here at Intermedia. At Intermedia, we're a cloud communications provider, and we provide unified communications, contact center, all AI-powered collaboration to small to mid-sized business through our vast partner community, of which many of our partners are service providers. And we've been empowering service providers with cloud services for since the mid 90s. So this isn't new to us. This is something that we've been doing for a long time, and we are truly at our core and our DNA a partner first organization.
So thank you. So great. Let's get into a bit of a scene setter then.
Mhm.
I mentioned previously the landscape is quite exciting right now. But what's your take on where we are today in the service provider kind of landscape?
Yeah, I think it's a great place to start. It's very, may we live in interesting times, right? There are two tectonic shifts that are converging at the same time for service providers. Shift number one is what's happening with their technology providers, right? These kind of hardware platform-based solutions that they've been using for many, many years. And we're kind of in a once in every 10-year shift that they're seeing right now. And the second part of this tectonic shift, the other part that's converging on them, is basically an industrial revolution with artificial intelligence. So these two things are kind of colliding together at the same time for service providers. Other industries are dealing with obviously this kind of AI revolution, but don't have to deal with this other thing happening at the same time. So it's very interesting, and there's a lot of big decisions to be made for service providers right now.
Yeah, there certainly is. Let's pick up on the AI point as well. There's been a lot of talk, how our service providers actually going to be able to use AI to differentiate themselves or augment their products or whatever it is. How do you see AI impacting service provider propositions? And that ability, I guess, to compete with sort of the wider market, especially those ecosystems, those big ecosystems that we all know and use as well.
Oh, I think that's kind of the kind of problem number one, right? Their legacy solutions, they simply just won't have AI, and AI will be the new battleground, and it's evolving very, very rapidly, right? So we saw generative AI come in, and we can augment communication solutions with all kinds of great things like transcriptions and summaries and meeting notes, and these things are starting to become more expected. Let's call them table stakes, right? But that's just literally the tip of the iceberg. When agentic AI becomes more mainstream, like where you'll have agents that are performing tasks on your behalf, then that gap is going to even further widen. So, again, like I said, there's big decisions. Excuse me. There's big decisions to be made. Do you want to be in this game, right? Do you want to be in the business communications market? If so, you're really going to have a solution that is powered by AI. I don't think it's going to be a choice, and it's becoming more and more evident as this technology continues to evolve, and it's so fast.
Yeah. And of course, the underlying network which many of these service providers, are managing, that needs to be sort of AI ready as well, if you like. So maybe let's move on to, more generally, we're seeing not just AI, but quite a lot of new technologies hit the market. How do you really foresee the role of service providers in helping businesses adopt those newer technologies?
Yeah, yeah, that's a great question. I think you kind of go back and think about the where service providers come from, right? This legacy of pin drop quality. And I think that service providers, obviously carry the backbone and the connectivity for all businesses. So I think they are in the best position to bring in these value added services. As a matter of fact, you kind of have to as a service provider, because you can't just rely on the connectivity, the core of your offer. You have to have some way to differentiate yourself, and
Mm.
that's where these on top of your connectivity value added services come in. So you can bundle and differentiate from your competition, also from other over the top providers. And I think service providers that are in the perfect position to deliver these services because, again, they have that trust. They are the trusted business solution provider. Trust is not easy to gain. And so once you have that, it's something that you want to capitalize on and leverage with the other services that you can bring to market. So I think service providers are in absolutely the perfect position to help businesses take advantage of this. I'm calling it industrial revolution, this AI revolution.
Yeah, it's trust and support, isn't it? I mean, we've all seen how the big vendors, their ability to manage, medium-sized businesses, they don't have the best reputation in that realm. Whereas, that's where service providers can really win. So,
Absolutely.
okay, well, let's talk about sort of another dynamic going on in the market. Obviously, we see all this change. We see this AI, we see this migration to the cloud. Is there enough urgency there for service providers to evolve if they need to evolve? Of course, we saw recently Cisco. They were going to end their perpetual license of program for their BoardWorks partners, and then they've rolled that back now by another 5 years. In some respects, they're just doing what's right by Cisco customers, I think. But what does this mean for the market? Are these kind of moves, are they hindering that urgency, to adopt new technologies, or how are you viewing that?
Yeah, I see it as the boiling frog analogy, right? So the boiling frog analogy says, and I've never tried this personally, so I'm not sure if it really works. Um, but if you have a pot of boiling water and you try to throw a frog in the pot, it's going to hop out. Of course it will, right? But if you put a frog in a pot of water and slowly, slowly, slowly turn up the heat until it's boiling, you'll boil the frog. I think you have to be very, very purposeful not to be the boiling frog. So if you have a technology platform that isn't currently meeting the needs of your customers and may not meet and will likely not meet the needs of your customers in the future, but then you can extend its life, you could easily become the frog that gets boiled slowly, right? And that's not the position you want to be in. So it's not necessary. The way you have to think about it is it's not necessarily what we can do, it's what we should do.
Mm.
Sure, we can now stay on this legacy platform for longer because our platform provider has enabled us to do so. You can, but should you? Is that the right thing for your business? Is that the right decision for your customers? One thing that everyone needs to be very clear about is that customers on legacy systems are the food of your competition, right? That's what they will feed on, right? So one of the most important things you can do is protect your customer base by making sure they're on a modern platform that meets their needs. Otherwise, they are your churn in essence.
Yeah. So maybe we could talk a bit more specifically about Intermedia. Then, obviously, your segment of that sort of partner base is service providers. How
Mhm.
are you bringing something fresh and new to the market to really help these service providers differentiate themselves?
Yeah, I'll go back to what I said earlier, which is being a partner company is in our DNA. You don't just kind of wake up and decide that you want to power, reseller partners. It's something that takes years and years and years. And what you realize is it's as much about the technology as it is about everything that you wrap around the technology. So fresh and new, everyone has fresh and new. There is, with what's happening in AI, it's an arms race. It's amazing. It's fantastic. And so let's just say, for example, everyone's got a great platform, right? We'll start there. Everyone's got a great platform. We've got a great platform. Everyone's got a great platform. But you need more than just a great platform, right? You need everything that helps you go to market. You need the ability to easily quote and order and bill. You need sales support. You need sales engineering support. You need not just marketing slicks, but you need full-blown marketing campaigns that you can slap your logo on and take to market that have videos and presentations and emails and social posts, right? That's what Intermedia brings to our service provider partners. We bring an ecosystem around our solution to help the partner get to market, sell successfully, market, migrate, right? All of these things are wildly important, and they're just as important as having a great platform with the services and all the wonderful AI whiz-bang things that everyone's going to have, right? So that's uniquely what we do, and I think we do it better than anybody else, is wrapping the go-to-market around the product so the service provider partner has it ready to go. You don't have to reinvent anything. We have it for you, and you can leverage it today. That's and really, again, when we say, being partner first is in our DNA, that's kind of the definition of it.
Yeah, fantastic. So, Mark, we are sort of coming to the end of our conversation. But before we go, maybe we could talk about your top takeaways from today's conversation. What are those top moments that our service provider viewers can take away for today?
Yeah, I think a couple of things for sure. There's some big decisions to be made, right? And in this shift, you're going to have to decide if you want to be in the business communications business, and if so, you're likely also going to have to rethink your kind of financial structure, where you've lived in this CapEx world for many, many years. You've built your kind of business, your economics around a CapEx model where you buy licenses, you buy hardware, you own them, you operate it. You're going to have to think about what it's going to look like in more of an OpEx world, right? Where you're acquiring services from a provider, you're marking them up. It's a very different way to wrap your head around how you make money, where your margin is, what kind of support and people you need. But it's a really important shift, and it's a shift that you're likely going to have to make if you want to participate in business communications in the future. And at Intermedia, we work closely with our service provider partners to help them understand how it's going to be different, right? Because we're a service provider, right? So we operate in this OpEx world, and we work really hard to help our partners understand how to think about it, how to rationalize it, and how to pipe it through their business. So big decisions to be made. But man, there's some really exciting things coming, and there's absolutely opportunities for service providers to add great solutions on top of their great connectivity and infrastructure to really capture the business market in a way that we probably haven't seen for many, many, many years.
Fantastic. Mark, thank you so much for joining me and sharing some of your insights today.
I enjoyed the conversation. It was a pleasure.
Great. And thank you for watching. You've been watching me, David Dungay, on UC Today. If you like today's conversation, please give us a like and a share on social media. That's it from me. See you next time.